By the way, like, do you know
Yeah.
Hindi? Hindi आती है कि नहीं आती है?
Nahi, no. Only English for today. I'm sorry. But listen, before we start, very good work. Very good work. You're part of a new progressive generation in India. I'm just really, really proud of what you're doing. Beyond just this, let me know if I can ever help.
Like, did you go through my work or something?
Yeah, I saw some videos. I think what you're doing is bigger than what you think. And that there is much greater potential than maybe you're thinking right now. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, you have a lot of work ahead. It won't all be fun, but it's
It won't be.
important.
It won't be. It won't be. So the thing is, I'm gonna be 22 next month, and I took a 1 year break just to explore myself, and
Sure.
I got into this. I started this, but now what the thing is, I'm not able to earn right now. I'm a bit trapped into that situation, and yeah, but it's not easy. It's not easy.
I wish I knew more about content creation and those sorts of ad revenues. I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
But all I can say is that most startups are like that too. First 2 to 3 years, no revenue and no salaries. But that's okay because in the fourth year, then you begin to see the labor and things. So really survival is something all startups have to do. No startup starts with $1 million investment,
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Keep going. Please keep going and do not stop. Even if you're volunteer first couple of years, don't worry about it.
Damn, I'm motivated right now. You don't know how much it means because since last 2 days I'm in a fight with my mom. She's telling go pursue this college, and I'm in a creative block. And then you say this, boom. Now I'm feeling good. Genuinely, I'm feeling good. Thank you so much, Samir. Hello everyone, मैं हूं सबसे भारी Akash Tiwari. There's 1.6 million deaths annually due to poor sanitation and lack of soap accessibility. And then there's 5 million global hotel wastages of soap daily. And when you combine these two problems, we get a CNN hero, Forbes 30 under 30, and all over world Unilever Young Entrepreneur of the, I think the 2016 or 17.
2018.
18, I'm so sorry, 18. And a lot of awards, but we are not here to discuss awards, but we are here to discuss about Samir and Samir's life, Eco Soap. So thank you so much for joining us, Samir. And I'm so sorry for delaying you for 15 minutes. I was having my dinner that time. So,
What was
yeah,
for dinner?
it was, do you know what's bhindi?
Yeah, of course, okra. Yeah.
Chapati? What do you say?
Okay, then it was worth it. If it was just dal-baat, then no, it wasn't worth it.
I loved it how you said dal-baat. But yes, I want to know how are you as a person in school or how are you as a person in college? Because
Sure.
what I want to know is I want to figure out those traits.
I wasn't a typical classroom learner. I think people and there's three types of learners, right? There's the visual learner, hands-on learner, and then there's the literature, the studious learner. There's a fourth learner, I think. Maybe I was part of that category and it just wasn't academically focused. I was both hands-on, but I really wanted to learn lessons the hard way. And this is something I'll be talking about today. And you know this as well. Failing is so important. Making mistakes is the most valuable lesson one can learn. And you can't really learn it in school besides receiving bad grades, right? Or saying the wrong thing in a classroom.
Being embarrassed.
Being embarrassed, yeah.
Embarrassed.
But for me, my real education came from starting a nonprofit organization and making a lot of mistakes there.
Yes, we are going to discuss about them. So the reason I asked you was because when I started my podcast, I realized it during this lockdown that
Sure.
before my podcast also, I'm a talkative person. I like talking to people. I can talk to anyone. And
Sure.
maybe when I was connecting the dots, that was the time I realized, oh yeah, that's the reason maybe I'm into this podcasting world and stuff, because I can talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I wanted to ask you, how were you as a person? But yes, you started Eco Soap, and I know how did you start. You saw a woman bathing her son with laundry powder, which is toxic. Okay. And then you went back to your hotel and you saw that there was a new soap.
Yeah.
The soap was replaced, and then you got that idea, right? So,
Yeah.
so tell me, this is a non-profit organization, Eco Soap, and you're a social entrepreneur. Tell me, how do you earn as an entrepreneur, as a person? How are you earning through this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wanna address what you first said about talking to anyone. That is, you are very lucky to have that skill set. I don't think everybody can do that. And so one of the missions, if I may say, one of the missions for CC is about showing that anybody can talk to anybody, and that you are just sharing these conversations and making the point that talking isn't so complicated and isn't so much pressure, you know?
Exactly. It's just having
And
a candid conversation.
if it comes naturally to you, it'll come naturally to others. So I think you may instill some pride in others. But here is another thing I will say. There is a real usefulness in being able to talk to anyone, and that usefulness is networking. You've heard it all the time. Networking is the most important thing, and I'm afraid to say it is the most important thing. But it looks a little different in today's era. All the people listening and watching your show are now somehow networked to me. If they want to start their own nonprofit, they can reach out to me. If they want to talk, they can reach out to me, and vice versa. And it really is the best way to make progress. And tying this back to the story, is it was basically about networking, right? So when I saw that issue happen in the village, I went back to basically a woman was using laundry detergent and the baby was crying. I remember, went back to my hotel room and saw the soap was replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew there were millions of bars there. But then what did I do next? What happened next? I started networking, right? And I am not a naturally outgoing guy like you. So it was really difficult for me the next morning to say, you know what? I'm wearing a $3 t-shirt, and now I'm supposed to have a meeting with a 5-star general manager from France or Italy about dirty soap. Okay, there's something wrong here, and maybe they'll think I'm a crazy person. But that is what I did.
Yeah.
It wasn't smooth, I'll tell you. But as you begin to network with the people you're trying to partner with, eventually they begin to understand that you have a life-saving mission here.
Mm-hmm.
How do I earn? Like I was saying to you earlier, it took 3 to 4 years to actually earn. And now through grants and donations, I am able to earn a living. But like you, I needed to find a vocation in the early days to support myself.
Damn. My mom's gonna tell me this. She's gonna point out at this now, right now. But
But
yes,
don't worry. Life is long. Don't worry. You know, I'm 6 years into Eco Soap, but I will be 60 years in before I know it. And only the first 3 or 4 years was volunteer. So 4 divided by 60 is nothing. You know.
You mean to say you're earning completely through EcoSoap right now? Like since the last
That's
5
right.
years, 6 years?
That's right. Yeah, no, our organization has grown a lot.
Okay.
Since starting in Cambodia many years ago. We're in 10 countries now. We have over 180 staff. So it's a larger organization, but nothing like Save the Children or anything like that. Yeah.
You started with collaborations, right? Not
Yeah.
not a cup of your tea, but you started with collaborations, and then now you are partnering. First it was 100 hotels, 600. Now it's, I think so, it's 1,200 hotels, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So now there's so many.
And soap factories
And
as
soap
well.
factories.
Many soap factories.
And when you started, you started with crowdfunding, I think so. So
Started with crowdfunding.
Yeah.
I'm from the US, so donor culture, donation culture is a little bit more popular here.
Okay.
So it was not impossible to raise donations in the US. It's difficult in other countries, I think. But yes, donations mostly came from small donors and my personal contacts.
Okay. So tell me, what were the things you kept in mind while collaborating or while approaching them? Because what happens is it's a non-profit thing, right? Even if donors, they wouldn't be donating everything to everyone, right? And then it's eventually it's a non-profit thing. So it's difficult to convince a lot of people. It takes a hell lot of convincing. So
Yeah.
what are just tell me 3 or 4 things you keep in mind every time you approach someone for
Yeah,
collaborating?
that's a great question, and that is the right question. Listen, nonprofits are competitive. There are so many out there, and not everyone can donate to every cause. So I think most people might say that you need to show how urgent the need is. You need to show how cost effective your donation is and things like that. But honestly, how can we really compare? And maybe you have an opinion. How can we really compare healthcare versus culture and art, or women's empowerment versus children's education? You can't really compare these things.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, what is the most useful thing for a donor to understand? And that is making it as easy as possible for them, just making their life easy, making the donation easy, making a donation of soap or donation of money easy, and making sure that they feel like it was valued. No one wants to give money and then disappear and something like that. So I know probably you would expect me to say, but we have a life-saving mission, and we do have a life-saving mission, and we save lives, I think. And however, that's not really what I say. I say, how can we make your life easier?
Okay. So next time I'm gonna approach a sponsor, I'm gonna keep this
Sponsor,
in mind.
very, very important, very important.
Yes, yes.
And everyone is so busy. Making it easy to understand and easy to sponsor, more important than any of the philosophical or any of the inspirational things you would ever say. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh, shit. What were the problems, or what are the problems you guys are facing? And if few mistakes you could redo 6 years back?
Yeah, problems are the need is too great. If you're a nonprofit and you say, this is the impact in this one community I want to make,
Yeah.
it is a little easier, I think, to wake up every day and do that mission. But when you have an organization like ours in a number of countries, and it's a very big problem, especially with coronavirus, you begin to realize how small and insignificant we really are, and our nonprofit really is. And so one of our problems is we don't reach enough people. I know people may think that providing soap to 2 million people is a lot, but in the scheme of things, you even look at India, it's nothing. And so that is one of the problems, but it continues to drive us to keep growing the project, partnering with more soap factories and hotels to get as much soap as we can. It's not really a problem, it's more of a challenge. With regards to specific problems, I would say keeping our team engaged and inspired is a difficult challenge.
Very difficult, especially in non-profit where there's difficult getting money.
It's difficult getting money, and I don't know, like, I would be interested to hear your thoughts too. Aren't there days when you're thinking about your channel where you don't think at all about the creativity or the guests or the messages? You just think about maybe the funding or some infrastructure or audience reach and data, and it has nothing to do with the stuff that you started it with?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's a great problem. And you know what happens next is, like, suddenly everything is gonna go downside then. And you for few days you just completely get lost of your track, your objectives. Why did you start
Yeah.
exactly? I just completely forget that, and then nothing. The output is not good. Then the output is
Yeah.
not good, and it
Correct.
happens all the time because there's a lot of pressure, and then it's like because you started that vision, and now very few people are believing it, but it's your responsibility. You made them believe it, right?
That's
So
correct.
because of
That's
it,
correct.
you have to keep going at that vision. You can't leave it. That it's just not you wrong. It's
It's
not you wrong.
added. It's added pressure to remember. And listen, it happened last night. I had a call last night with our staff abroad, and we just talked about all the problems and all the infrastructure. But we didn't talk once about children washing their hands or how many schools will now open safely. And I felt bad afterwards. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
It is my responsibility. We must, at every opportunity, remind ourselves why we are doing this in the first place. So maybe it's a problem, maybe it's just a reminder. I'm not sure.
So how do you remind yourself? So I'll tell you my process. Okay. What
Yes,
I do
please.
is okay. So I know it's kind of childish, but what I do is I start watching cartoons. Okay.
Okay.
I,
All right.
I am a mad cartoon fan, but what I do is whenever I'm lost, I just start watching cartoons because cartoon is full of purity, full of emotions, and that drive, that pure drive, which you have inside you because you are watching cartoons. I was watching cartoons since I was a child and I still watch them. Okay. So once I
Right.
watch them, once I'm so connected in that, then I realize, oh shit, that was the real thing I was, and I'm not feeling it
That's
anymore. I'm
amazing.
not I'm not feeling that anymore. So why am I not feeling it? And then I realize, oh damn, shit. That
That's
was it.
amazing. I saw your recent animation interview as
Oh
well. And
yeah.
you know what? You know what? You talked a lot about the background of the industry and all the technical aspects. And you know what? But it does not come out in the final product. The final product is pure. And if we can somehow drink from that purity or something, I think it'll make our lives a lot higher quality, you know?
Yeah. So that's what I'm
So.
saying. That's how I remind myself. So how are you reminding? Because your journey is right now more difficult.
I think I spend enough time, and I could always spend more reading and researching about the need. I learn things all the time. There was a recent UN report that says that 43% of schools all over the world don't have soap. And that's crazy. That's just absolutely crazy. And I never knew those statistics before. So at every opportunity to remind myself about the specific data and statistics, it's hard to put that out of your head when you realize 2 billion people don't have access to soap. Oh my God, I have a lot of work to do, you know? So we have just under 2 million diarrheal deaths per year, but 2 billion don't have access to soap either at the home facilities. Yeah.
So why are you not doing in India? Is it because there's one more organization? I just saw the organization.
Uh,
I don't remember the name, but you started in 2013 or 14, I think so, right?
we
And
started in 2015. They started a little earlier. They're based in Mumbai, doing the exact same
same
work.
thing, yeah.
Same thing. They're
They
called
started later, right? You started first, or
around the same time. They're called Sundara, and they are growing as well.
yeah.
Excellent organization. We do the exact same thing as them. Yeah.
So why are you guys not collaborating? Like, don't you
Oh
think
no,
it's
we do. Many countries, yeah. Whenever we have surplus soap, we try to ship them soap as well. And that's
okay?
that's the point, you know. I think a lot of, maybe this is wrong. I hope this is wrong. I think a lot of nonprofits chase after market share. How many countries can we work in? And for us, that's not as important, mostly because we just don't have the capital or the funding to be everywhere. We need to work in partnerships with others. Sundara working in India, amazing group. They do the exact same thing. In fact, they do a lot of things better than we do. And the most important thing is the empowerment and employment of women in Mumbai.
Okay.
Yeah,
Damn. And
it's
yes,
amazing.
yep. And I was going through those people you have employed, man. Hats off, like complete woman force, right?
Yeah, except for me, unfortunately.
That's actually
Loser.
great. That's actually great. You're not married, right? That's actually great.
So yeah, this was important to us. I think a lot of nonprofits can say that they're focused on women's jobs, and a lot of it is kind of lip service and a type of way to add another level of impact. For us, if I'm being totally honest, it's because women are easier to work with than men. I mean, I'll just be honest. They're they're just a little bit more eager to give back to the community and to do the type of work that we have, which includes joining a community of other women and things like that. And so I'm really happy with the model that we have.
So there's this one interesting fact I'll tell you about a NGO. Okay.
Yeah.
So long time back, like 3-4 months back, I did a podcast with two graffiti artists. Okay. They are India's
Oh,
first graffiti artist who represented India internationally. Okay.
wow.
And the amazing graffiti artists. So what happened was obviously these guys charge, right? And then there are NGOs who take work from commercial. They take a commercial work and about painting a wall or something else, some kind of commercial work. I don't know the exact details, but they take the commercial work and they call in volunteers from students or
Yeah.
somewhere to do the same things freely. And for the commercial work, they are charging like everything. Okay, and these
Yeah.
guys are telling those volunteers to do it for free, and whatever the cost is, they are taking it in. So
Okay.
these guys are not paying them. But yeah, that's the situation. So as you said, lip service of a lot of NGOs. These things, like there are a lot of good NGOs. There are a lot of
Yeah.
NGOs doing good work, but then there are NGOs who are taking up commercial work, and then no, it's actually non-profit, but they're taking it profit.
That's a good point. Let's talk about NGOs. NGOs, or really anything, even a business, they're started with one person's idea, right? And we know as people, we are not perfect. It's kind of like planting a seed. If your seed is defective or it doesn't have good genes, it'll show up in the tree, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing even with companies as well. The thing about companies are you very quickly realize, oh no, I'm not making any profit here. This is not going to work, and you shut it down.
Yeah.
However, with NGOs, it's different because it's less about the profit and more about the problem you're solving, which means that NGOs can stick around a long time, even though the tree is not healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's because that problem will always be there. And so basically, that is all to say the life cycle of an NGO can be very long, which makes it even more important that we need to be diligent. We need to have outside advisors. We need to have an independent board that is guiding the project. Because I will be the first person to admit if it's an NGO led by one person, it's not going to be as democratic as we think it is.
Tell me one thing. You promote personal hygiene. You are doing a lot of work in
Yeah.
this field. Okay. Tell me, what is the most unhygienic thing you have done ever in your life?
No, when I was young, I barely washed my hands. I rarely washed my hands when I was young.
You're sure about
And
this podcast getting on?
oh, that's okay. No, that's okay. And so maybe it was a placebo thing, but I don't think it was. When I was young, I had frequent stomach problems and frequent stomach illness. I also had bad practices such as chewing my nails and biting my fingers and things like that. But I remember I was constantly sick. I used it as an excuse to get out of school, of course, don't tell anyone. But I was always sick. And I'll tell you something else, and it might be placebo, and I freely admit that. I have not been sick once in the last 6 years since starting EcoSoap because every single day I wake up and I'm reading health reports about hand washing and infection control. And every single day I said, oh my God, I need to wash my hands. I need to wash my hands. I need to wash my hands. Have not been sick once. So take
Oh,
what take what you will of that experiment. I don't know.
Damn. Damn.
No flu in the last 6 years since starting to wash my hands, but also not touching my face and things like that.
Yeah. Because of COVID, you guys started collaborating with soap factories. So that's a
Yes.
good thing. But what do you think? Where's this gonna go ahead? Like, how are you gonna function ahead?
When the pandemic started, all hotels and all guests stopped, right? And so our supply of hotel soap dropped to almost zero. And so what we started to doing is we started to reach out to soap factories. Do you have any waste? Do you have any product that you cannot sell that we can recycle for you? And what we found was incredible. Absolutely incredible. We found over 300 metric tons of waste from about 5 or 6 companies. So it was just absolutely incredible. And 300 metric tons is over 3 million bars of soap. And since the pandemic started, we have distributed about 4 million bars of soap to date, just in the last 6 months. And so if anyone is listening, if anyone can connect me, if anyone works at such a factory, please don't throw away your waste. Please donate it to Eco Soap Bank, and we will make it easy, right?
Yes, that's what I was going to mention. It's going to be easy. But
it's going to be hassle-free.
Oh, damn. This is such a fun podcast. Didn't expect it, right? Didn't expect it to be such a fun podcast.
Of course.
Were you expecting it?
Never. No. The most important conclusion is I didn't wash my hands as a kid. Now I wash my hands and now I feel a lot better.
So. But tell me how the NGO is gonna work ahead. Like you might be devising a plan, or you might be strategizing a plan how you're gonna work ahead, or how do you think all the NGOs gonna work now after COVID?
We, especially with mobility restrictions and lockdowns, we need to work together better because we don't have the freedom of movement anymore. And therefore, we will need to work with Sundara more. And I encourage everyone to check out their website, sundarafund.org. We need to work with soap factories more. And so basically, that is all to say we need to collaborate in the nonprofit sector, but also in the other sectors as well. So I think to answer your question, collaboration is even more important based on a physical restriction, which is lockdowns. That's the first thing. And secondly is in terms of our strategy is going to revolve around soap factories more and more. We estimate we're only collecting 2% of the global wastage from factories. So as many factories as possible can get in contact with us, Eco Soap Bank, the better. And lastly, there is something good that is happening as well. I don't know if it's a focus of your channel, but I think that the reduction in carbon footprint from air travel is a good thing. Yeah. I don't know how to sustain it. I don't know if we will just go back to where we came from.
What do you think?
I think we will just go back to where we came from. I don't know what to do about it, really. And you know what's another interesting thing, too? The Earth does not measure progress in a couple of months. That's like saying if you've been eating unhealthy junk food for 10 years and then you stop for 6 months, that you're somehow going to be miraculously better. That's not how the Earth works. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's gonna go back. But I genuinely believe one thing, that this is my theory. I have no professional degree in this, but this is my theory, that things are gonna get back like before, the emissions and stuff. But we would be more cautious because of that. I think we would be more cautious for that.
If that is your conclusion, I think that is a good first step. And I'm not just saying, oh, you have to start somewhere. I'm actually saying that lays the foundation to later progress and later changes. How can you change a problem if we're not conscious about it?
Samir, my last question, and this is gonna be a hard one.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Okay. So you've got CNN Hero, okay? You've got a Unilever Award. You've been into
Yeah.
Forbes 30 into 30, okay? And you're doing a good cause. You're doing a good cause, okay? And you've done a lot of interviews, podcasts. Like you are like a social celebrity now, okay? But what do you think is missing, or what do you think is not making you satisfied yet? Because even people would be like, oh damn, you're into Forbes in 30 into 30,
Yeah.
and there would be some days where you'd be like, and then they'll be like, don't act modest, but only you know the truth, right? So what is that thing which is not making you
Oh,
satisfied?
only one dissatisfaction, only one, and I've never taken my eye off of it. It's not enough impact, not enough people reached, not enough soap. Really, that's my only dissatisfaction. The thing about anything in life is the more you know about one thing, the more you know how little you understand.
Yeah.
Anything in life. And that is the same thing with my work. Okay, 8 million bars distributed since we've started. That's nothing. That is literally nothing. And that is my main dissatisfaction. The awards and stuff, listen, all of human history is about one main lesson. In all of human history, and I know I'm oversimplifying, it is, and this is why history repeats itself, it is that money and greed never satisfies something about the human spirit. Power and money is not satisfying, and at the end of life you feel something is missing. I am working very hard to internalize those things and put it out of my mind. So for anyone listening, please put aside the awards. Please put aside the money as well, because you will perhaps, maybe everyone's different. I don't think it will be satisfied. But for me, only one dissatisfaction, not enough impact. Won't be enough impact.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's
I
not
hope
enough
so.
impact, but yes, you have made at least some kind of impact rather than
Some kind
nothing.
of impact. And that is what I looked for people like you to tell me. And this is why I joined these sorts of conversations is
And that is
I
what
need
pushes us, right? That is what pushes us.
that is what pushes us. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you can get carried away. It is important to look at where you are now and to take great pride in it, but also not lose fact of where you're going. And I am going to remember to do that by watching cartoons.
Ouch! Damn!
No, I mean it. I mean it.
I just told you my secret, and you.
And now I'm taking the secret for my own. Yes.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much, Samir. And how was the podcast for you? How did you feel?
It was a lot of fun. I want to come back in a few years. Number one, if anyone is listening out there and wants to chat, please go to our website. Maybe you can link it, please,
Yep.
in
I'm
the
gonna do it.
description. But secondly, if anyone is connected to soap factories as well, please get in touch as well. We can save more lives and reach more people.
Yeah.
One thing before we go, keep going. Don't stop, please. We need more voices like you. And what you're doing is more important than you realize. I'm not just saying that.
Why are you saying this, man? You're making me. Okay.
No pressure. No pressure.
Tell me, I genuinely want to get into this, but I'm honestly asking if you're fine with it,
Yeah.
just tell me why did you say this? Like,
Because we are together, less so me, but you are creating culture here. And culture is, and we were talking about ingredients, right? Consciousness and then change. And there's something before consciousness even, and that's culture. And so we need to create culture with many different types of voices before we can make change. And so if you wanted to add a third C to your channel, it would be culture, I would say. So
we're gonna keep it. We're gonna put it. So thank you
no,
so
don't
much
do it.
for the third C, Samir. And I hope you enjoyed. And I'm all my wishes to Eco Soap. I wish if I can collaborate in some way, or if anyone can collaborate in some way, we can donate. We can help get contacts or networking with any soap factories or anything. If there's anything else you come up, just let me know. I'm always gonna be in touch with you on LinkedIn. So
Sure.
just let us know. Okay.
Good luck and thank you.
Yes, Samir, thank you so much and all the best. And we all are with you. So keep going. And yes, thank you so much.
I will. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.